I want to take you through some of the Orange County government transportation facts that were recently released by Orange County. So just to kind of break it down a little bit, there's been a high influx of workers coming into Orange County every day, and about half of all those workers in Orange County come in from the surrounding counties around Orange County just to come to work in Orange County. We're also experiencing extraordinary population growth with a growing net of nearly 1,000 new residents every week. And our congestion and commuting times continue to increase each year. Commuters spend an average of 46 hours per year in traffic congestion. And there are also delays costing them $960 per year. And there's some transportation challenges. Pedestrian safety continues to be an issue and needs to be improved. And also, current public transit is very inadequate. Where Lynx bus routes, they don't meet the current demand, and Sunrail doesn't run often enough during the day. We're lacking some funds, money. Orange County ranks among the lowest in transportation funding in Florida, and our gas tax is stagnant. The federal fuel tax is flat because of improved technology and fuel efficiency over time. And cost of transportation on Orange County households, the average monthly household cost of driving is $1,079. But a monthly bus service pass is only $50. So you can kind of calculate the difference there. And Orange County Mayor Jerry Demings, he's kind of proposed a path forward to kind of address some of these issues, such as the transportation penny sales tax, which could be used for various roadway improvements and transportation infrastructure, which includes things like pedestrian safety improvements, intersections, such as adding turn lanes, and public transportation for Lynx and Sunrail. And the sales tax would generate $596 million per year and would be on purchases of retail goods and services. And that's your Nicole Knows, the Orange County Transportation Penny Sales Tax.
Ms. Nicole, thank you for that. We really appreciate it, and that's going to be a conversation that we're going to get a little bit more into. We have had Osceola, Brevard, and I believe Volusia County that has had the same ballot initiative, and it has failed. So it's going to be interesting how we drill down to convince everybody. I mean, because it's no convincing me, and I know a lot of other folk. We're talking about the #1 world destination. All you have to do is go jump on I-4 during rush hour, and you'll understand. So that's a conversation that we're going to talk a little bit more about during this show. I think we're going to go, Amanda, we're going to go to a quick break. And when we return, we're going to have a guest that knows a whole lot about this transportation infrastructure tax. We'll be right back with Let's Talk About It. Rod Love and Greg Jackson. Hey, let me ask, is my good friend Mayor Nelson on the line? Mayor Nelson, are you there? Mayor Nelson.
How you doing, Rod Love?
Hey, man, I am doing well, man. You I don't know if you've been listening, but hey, we didn't bring home that Buffalo Soldier trophy this year, Mayor.
What a great event! I tell you, I was amazed the amount of people, and I mean, just what a group of folks. They're there for the right reasons, raising money for all kinds of folks that could use it, and so I was glad to be a part of that. I just wish I'd have had a better team.
Well, man, Mondo, did you hear? Oh, hey, for somebody who drives around with their bowling ball and shoes in the trunk, but I got to give it to you. You carried it. At least that lady next to me, Miss Kelsey, at least she didn't beat me, man. At least she got to show up to the Alliance meeting. But Mayor Nelson, we appreciate you, man, just being supportive and supporting things that's going to make a difference in the lives of people. But, hey, speaking of something that's going to make a difference in the lives of people, I don't know if you got a chance to hear the Nicole Knows about the Orange County transportation tax, but you're up on this more than most. So, Mayor, talk to us. I've already mentioned that the ballot initiative had failed in Osceola, Brevard, and Volusia, and that more information. And I like the fact that Mayor Demings is rolling out more information and he's going into the community. But talk to us about this transportation infrastructure tax.
Well, I'll tell you this. We've had a couple of meetings. I've put together a couple of meetings in Apopka, had all the cities outside of Orlando, which would be Winter Park, Eatonville, Ocoee, let's see, Belle Isle, Oakland, Windermere. So I've had all the cities minus Orlando and Winter Garden come out to Apopka, and we've had a couple of meetings kind of talking about, what's our role, what benefits do we see as municipalities, and so we were, then even the funding, mechanism, and so I think we've kind of coalesced around the DOR, the Department of Revenue's model for being funded, and then I think the other thing is we got to look at is we've got to make this as transparent and as concrete and detailed as we can get it, because I think what's happened, the ones that have failed because there was not enough detail, and people don't want to give government money that they don't know exactly where it's being spent.
And Mr. Mayor, let me ask you, because I have the fact sheet in front of me, and one of the items that it identifies is this penny tax will raise almost $600 million a year. But for what period of time are we talking about that tax being in place?
And that's they're still rolling that around. I've heard from the county 20 to 30 years, and I can almost assure you that 30-year deal will never work, will never pass. So I mean, the thing is, if you're gonna do something, you're gonna get behind a proposal. You obviously want to make it where you've got people that are supportive of it. And I just think, to me, the shorter the time period, the better. I know that's not. It's harder to set up for projects and how you're going to move forward. But you put a 30-year proposal in front of people the numbers I've got are $635 million. People are not going to give you, what would that be? 635 times 30, what?
A lot of money. Just said a lot of money, a lot of green.
Right. And so I think, to me, you shorten it, and then you come back and say, if in 10 years we've done a good job, good stewards of your money, then maybe we get another 5 or 10 years.
Okay, So Mayor Nelson, here's another question for you, and I'm just basing this on the transportation fact sheet that's public. It's out. The public can get it. But some of the pass forward, if you would, some of the things that these dollars are going to be proposed to be spent on is technology, traffic signals, street lights, and this is the one, public transportation. And I'm looking at smaller municipal communities such as, even though Apopka's a smaller municipality, it's still the second largest municipality in Orange County. And we have the 429, the 451, and we have some linked bus service, but what else would we look at impacting our local transportation infrastructure, with this tax?
Well, I think that's and one of the things we kind of came up with, and Ocoee is a good example. So we have a road, Apopka Ocoee Road, that starts out in the jurisdiction of Apopka, goes to Orange County, and then ends up in the jurisdiction of Ocoee. So that's a partnership that, if we had these tax dollars, that Orange County would benefit, Apopka would benefit, and Ocoee would benefit. So those are the kind of partnerships you want to work on. Is there are roads out there that maybe are in Apopka, or maybe they're in Orange County, but help Apopka residents get to work or get to wherever they're trying to get to. So those are the kind of things that we need to really identify, and we need to put those in front of people. And one of the things I brought up at the meeting with the municipalities is I want everybody to come up with a 3-year plan. Here's, based on the dollars you're talking about, I would get, or Ocoee would get, or Windermere would get. Where would you spend the dollars for the next 3 years? And so when you go to the taxpayer and say, okay, here's what we're going to do with our money, then they can say, okay, I'm good with that. That the intersection, let's say for us, would be Welch and Rock Springs Road would be a big one.
Gotcha.
Okay, we're going to add 2 more turn lanes. We're going to do this and we're going to do that. That's how you get buy-in. You got to show a specific project. But when you take out the Sunrail and Links is 100 and what Mayor Demings is offered is $195 million off the top for improving or increasing the ridership in those two, public transportation. So now we're down to $440 million. I mean, still a lot of money. I think, for instance, for Apopka, I think it ends up being $13.5 million is kind of what our take would be. So, and then when we talk about, sales tax in Orange County, and sales tax is probably 50% paid for by tourists and 50% by residents. So, when you look at that big number, half of it's being paid for by tourists.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because, I mean, just based on the fact sheet, it does reference that, because when you get to the section about who's going to pay for this, 51% will be paid by tourists, visitors to Orange County. 49% will be paid by us. But another good piece, and you've already kind of touched on it, when you talk about tax, the immediate response people were having was, I don't want another property tax, and this is not a property tax. This is a tax on retail goods and services, correct?
Correct.
And so I think as we continue to flesh this out, but there's, like you mentioned, I mean, there's a lot of questions that are yet unanswered. And, I like the fact that Mayor Demings, as well as yourself, you're having forums with those elected leaders to say, how is this going to best impact your constituents, your community? Right.
And I know, we're going to have our meeting in District 2 will be December 5th at Wekiva High School at 6:30. So for anybody that lives in the, Apopka, Lockhart, Zellwood, Plymouth areas, it'll be Wekiva High School, 6:30 on December the 5th.
How's that information getting out, Mayor? Because when you say District 2, that's District Orange County, that's the commissioner of District 2 that's going to be hosting that?
Correct.
Okay, because the community really needs to come out and hear how, I mean, you're talking, like you mentioned, we're talking over $600 million, and it's not set in stone right now in terms of what the duration is going to be. But here's an opportunity to listen and speak up about how you like to see tax dollars spent in your community.
Right, exactly. So, I mean, we just got to get a lot more specificity to the proposal before you're going to get enough buy-in to get this thing passed.
Yeah.
So it's far from a slam dunk that this referendum gets approval. So, and so they got to get ahead of the curve here on the information, and like I say, specificity I think is what drives anything. Anybody's going to increase their own taxes, they want to know exactly how that money is being spent.
Well, I tell you what, we definitely can learn lessons from the three counties that I mentioned earlier, because it didn't happen in those three counties. But, we'll continue. I mean, right now, the things that we're doing, having dialogue about, the potential of this, and also 1,000 questions plus some. But the good thing is that, you, Mayor Demings, and other elected leaders are getting out there and having a conversation. And it's almost like the kid that you tell something to, and they continue to say, well, why not? This is going to lead to more questions.
Right. And we got to have answers. So,
right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Well, Mayor Nelson, hey, definitely appreciate you and your capacity of leadership. We're asking a ton of questions. I know, and Mayor Demings, he's been on this show in different capacities, and so he's always invited to come on and just go ahead and let taxpayers know. And I know he's doing it in other forums, but this is one of those things that we have a great opportunity to sit down and tool this to what we believe we need. And the last thing that we do need is to be like in Atlanta, where we get on the highway, man, and can't get anywhere.
Right.
So Mayor Nelson, we appreciate it, man. We appreciate you out there doing what you're doing. And, come on, next year, man, let's bring home a trophy.
Well, you guys want to do a little work.
Hey, well, I'm gonna sharpen it up a little bit. But Mayor Nelson, once again, on a serious note, we really appreciate your leadership and all the things that you're doing involving affordable housing, transportation, you name it. I appreciate you being at the table. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Same to you guys.
All right.
What you guys do.
Thank you. Take care. Hey, for those of you who don't know, that was Mayor Brian Nelson, mayor of the city of Apopka. And when I tell you, This is an individual that is involved in the community just any day of the week. And I know he wouldn't hate that I would say this, but any day of the week, around 6:30 in the morning over at the McDonald's downtown Apopka, he's having his cup of coffee, and constituents come and go and talk about their issues. And, it doesn't always have to be about issues. Sometimes it's, be able to sit down and have a good conversation with a person that has your interests at heart. So once again, we appreciate Mayor Nelson. And that was the discussion about the transportation tax. And again, Mayor Demings, who has been a friend to the show, want to go ahead and continue. And I'll make the personal outreach to him as well. I think that, he's on the right track with getting out there and talking about this issue about the transportation tax. And we all know transportation is an issue in Central Florida. We just got to make sure that the system that is going to go into place and the accountability that will be put in place, that it is what we can all be proud of. And I know he's working toward that.